Left at the altar. Millionaire's shocking despair until one kind maid revived his life. The church bells echoed through the small town, a haunting melody of love and loss. Just moments ago, the lavish wedding of millionaire Alex Harrington had been the talk of the town. Now he stood alone at the altar, the bright morning sun casting shadows over his crumpled tuxedo. The guests, those glittering faces, froze in shock as his bride, the stunning Veronica, vanished without a trace. Rumors swirled. Had she run off with the best man, or was it all part of a twisted game? The truth was a burning ember of mystery, igniting whispers, fear, and disbelief in everyone's hearts. As Alex stared into the empty aisle, his heart pounded like a war drum in his chest. The air thickened with tension, a storm brewing inside him that mirrored the chaos erupting outside. Laughter turned to gasps. Confusion spread like a disease. "Where is she?" friends murmured, glancing at each other, wide-eyed and nervous. Alex's vision blurred as tears threatened to spill, simmering with an anger he couldn't contain. This wasn't just betrayal. It was a violent eclipse of hope. Days turned into a blurred haze of despair. Alex's mansion, once alive with laughter and parties, became a tomb of silence. The luxurious decor felt more like a prison. He wandered through the empty halls, haunted by echoes of their planned future together. An unbearable weight sat on his shoulders, sending tremors through his hands. Even his lavish cars collected dust, neglected, as if they sensed the sorrow that clung to him like a second skin. Each night, he brooded over glasses of scotch, drowning in loneliness while the world outside flourished without him. And just when it seemed the darkness would swallow him whole, a spark flickered to life. Her name was Mia, a maid hired to clean the mansion. With soft, caring hands, she tended to Alex like he was glass, afraid he might shatter. Despite his pain, her mere presence was a balm. Time slowed when she smiled, and for a fleeting moment, the weight lessened. But could a simple maid truly understand a millionaire's suffering? Could she possibly understand the depths of his despair? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon, and while you're there, smash that like button. It really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. Suddenly, fate twisted again. One night, as rain poured down like sorrow from the heavens, Alex stumbled into the kitchen, weary and lost. Mia was there, flickering candles casting a warm glow around her. A spark ignited. Was it friendship? Something deeper? He needed her more than he realized. In that moment, as their eyes locked, an unspoken connection hung in the air, thick and electric. But would it be enough to revive the shattered pieces of his life? As thunder rumbled mercilessly outside, a new question loomed. Could he risk opening his heart again? The storm raged on, pounding against the mansion's grand windows, the wind howling like a grieving soul. Alex and Mia stood there, caught in their fragile moment as thunder clapped above, echoing their heartbeats. It was as if the world outside knew the fragility of what lay within. Mia's voice was soft, barely cutting through the tempest, but it shook him to his core. You don't have to go through this alone. The sincerity in her gaze pulled at something he thought had long gone, the hope for connection. He swallowed hard, the lump in his throat tightening like a noose. I don't know if I can allow anyone in again, he confessed, his voice barely louder than a whisper. The raw honesty felt liberating, frightening all at once. Sometimes, letting someone in can be the first step to healing, she replied, stepping closer, their breaths mingling in the charged air between them. She brushed a stray tear from his cheek. It felt like a touch of warmth in the depths of his cold despair. But just as possibilities flickered, a loud crash interrupted them. The front door had burst open, the wind howling in like an uninvited guest. Startled, They turned to see a figure drenched from head to toe, silhouetted by the lightning. There, standing defiantly, was Veronica, Alex's supposed bride. Her hair clung to her face, eyes blazing with anger. "What are you doing here?" Alex's chest tightened, shock gripping him in a vice as he felt everything he had begun to build, every ounce of strength, and hope teetered dangerously on the brink of collapse. "Mia." Veronica's voice dripped with venom as her attention darted toward the maid. "Do you really think you can replace me? After everything?" She laughed, but it was a sound haunted by betrayal, a cacophony that filled the empty corners of the mansion. Mia stepped back, confusion and fear battling in her eyes. This wasn't just a lover's quarrel. This was a storm brewing, and Alex could feel the pressure in every fiber of his being. "Veronica, you vanished at our wedding. Where have you been?" He couldn't mask the anger in his tone. "Where have I been? I've been trying to figure out how to escape this life you think you've offered me." Veronica shouted, rage swirling around her. "And I see you've moved on already. How convenient." "Moved on?" Alex could hardly believe her audacity. "You left, Veronica. You're the one who chose to abandon everything." She stormed into the kitchen, water pooling around her like dark intentions. "And you think some cheap maid can lift the weight of your broken heart? You think she has any idea what's at stake? What we had?" Each word felt like a dagger plunging deeper into his already broken spirit. The truth, harsh and undeniable, crept into his mind. What had he been feeling with Mia? Was it really hope or just a desperate need to fill the void? Mia shifted slightly, uncertainty mixed with fear painting her features. Alex's heart raced. Torn between the past he was battling to let go of and the fragile light offered by the maid before him. "Leave, Veronica," he finally commanded, his voice steadier than he felt. "This isn't about you anymore. It hasn't been for a long time." But as the words left his mouth, doubt flickered in the back of his mind. Could he truly dismiss the whirlwind of emotions that came crashing down like the storm outside? Or had he opened a Pandora's box of regrets that could never be closed again? With a smirk, Veronica leaned in, whispering dangerously close, "Watch your back, Alex. You have no idea what I'm capable of." As she turned to storm out, lightning crackled again, leaving the three of them in an electrified silence. Mia's voice cut through that silence, trembling. What now? The questions hung in the air, taut and heavy. What had he really let in? Would the stakes they all faced rise to a point beyond redemption? And as the rain lashed against the windows like an angry mob demanding answers, one thing became painfully clear. Alex's life was about to unravel in ways he never imagined. The storm continued to lash at the mansion, a vicious reminder of the chaos enveloping Alex's life. The air was thick, saturated with tension and unspoken fears. Mia glanced nervously between Alex and the now empty doorway where Veronica had stood. Her heart raced, the weight of uncertainty pressing down on her like a suffocating shroud. What did she mean by that? Mia murmured, her voice barely audible, as if speaking any louder might summon another surge of conflict. Alex felt a chill run down his spine. The darkness in Veronica's eyes hinted at something far more sinister than mere jealousy. "I don't know," he said, his brow furrowing. "But I don't intend to find out." He tried to sound resolute, but even he could hear the wavering uncertainty in his voice. Mia stepped forward, reaching for his hand. "You don't have to face this alone. Whatever she's planning, we can handle it together." Her touch was grounding, yet fear crept up Alex's spine at the thought of dragging Mia into his tumultuous world. "Have you seen how she acts? I can't let you get hurt because of my mistakes." Lightning flashed again, illuminating Mia's earnest face, determination carved into her delicate features. "And I can't stand by while you face your demons alone. I care about you, Alex. You deserve to be free of her influence." His heart stirred, conflicted between the warmth of her words and the cold grip of guilt. Just as he was about to respond, a loud bang echoed from the back of the house, causing them both to jump. Shadows danced ominously in the flickering light, amplifying the dread that clawed at Alex's insides. "Stay here," he ordered, a fierce growl that belied his deep-seated fear. With a deep breath, He turned away from Mia and moved cautiously toward the sound, every instinct screaming at him to protect her. The kitchen was dark, illuminated only by the sporadic flashes of lightning. As he stepped over the puddle Veronica had left, he caught a glimpse of something glinting on the countertop. It looked like a knife, sharp and ominous. The sight sent a wave of nausea through him. Why had she left it here? Mia, he called, not daring to turn his back to the ominous darkness behind him. I need you to stay close. A soft gasp was heard behind him. Alex turned, and fear gripped his heart. Mia stood frozen in the hallway, her eyes wide with terror. He felt a surge of panic sweep over him as he rushed back to her. What is it? He asked, scarcely able to keep his voice steady amidst the storm pounding at the windows. There's something outside, she stammered, pointing toward the door they had left ajar. I saw a shadow move. It didn't look like Veronica. It had felt wrong. Every fiber of Alex's being went on high alert. They were no longer just dealing with Veronica's stormy fury. Something darker loomed just beyond their sanctuary. Lock the door, he instructed sharply, scanning the wind-battered landscape outside. We need to be safe in here. As Mia rushed to comply, Alex shot a glance outside, the rain beating down mercilessly. Through the sheets of water, he spotted a fleeting figure darting away from the house, disappearing before he could make sense of who or what it was. What the hell was that? He muttered, every moment constricting like a vice around his chest. Turning back to Mia, he saw her pale face, the shimmer of fear in her eyes. Who else could be here? What does this even mean? They both stood, hearts racing, caught between the past that chased Alex and the present urgency bearing down on them. A sense of unity flickered between them, stronger than fear, sharper than uncertainty. But just then, the power flickered and died. The house plunged into an eerie darkness, only punctuated by the storm's wrath. Alex, Mia's voice cracked. Stay close. What lay ahead had taken on an entirely new layer of mystery, igniting the dread in their chests. With the storm howling outside and shadows lurking in the mansion, they braced for whatever would come next. With every tick of uncertainty, one question cut through. What shadows from the past threatened to engulf them both? As the storm raged on, the true danger loomed just on the horizon. The darkness felt alive, a heavy blanket pressing down as Alex grasped Mia's hand tightly. The uncertainty crackled in the air like the storm outside, each thunderous crash echoing a warning through the mansion. With the flickering power, shadows twisted at the corners of their vision, taunting them with secrets hidden deep within the house's walls. Why won't the lights come back? Mia breathed, her voice trembling as she pressed closer. The vulnerability in her tone made Alex's heart ache. He couldn't afford to break down now. Not when she needed him most. I don't know, he whispered, though he felt the truth, an unsettling truth gnawing at him. They were alone, and now whatever was outside, whatever was lurking in the storm, was closer than ever. The wind howled, rattling windows. Abandoning caution, he took a step towards the kitchen. We need to see if we can find the generator. Just then, a slow, deliberate knocking echoed through the silence like a death knell. Came from the main door. A cold grip of dread clutched at Alex's throat. It was too rhythmic, too purposeful to be a friend. Mia, he said, his voice a whisper now, stay quiet. They held their breath. The knocking continued, now intermingled with the sound of rain pelting against the porch. It sounded like a desperate plea or worse, an invitation. Just as he debated whether to call out or hide, the door creaked open, revealing nothing but a dark abyss. Mia gasped, clutching Alex's arm like a lifeline. We should just lock up tight and hide. She was practically trembling, face pale, eyes wide like saucers. No, he replied firmly, the weight of impending dread dragging at his resolve. We can't let whoever that is in. But the darkness seemed to whisper enticingly, promising safety, even as it loomed ominously. Hesitating, he edged toward the door, peering through the sliver of light that managed to force its way through the crack. A sudden flicker of movement caught his eye, a fall of rain revealing the fleeting silhouette of a figure just outside, half hidden from view, but unmistakably human. Panic surged through him like fire. "Mia, back away!" he yelled, stepping protectively in front of her as adrenaline coursed through him. "What?" she asked, confusion blending with fear. "What do you see?" "I saw someone." He swallowed hard. "It looks like they're hurt." Before he fully processed his thought, a voice ripped through the silence, raw and filled with desperation. "Please, you have to help me." Every instinct screamed at Alex to turn away, to shield Mia from whatever lurked outside. But that voice haunted and pleading tugged at him. His heart raced as uncertainty warred with compassion. "Stay here," he warned, not taking his eyes off the door. "Alex, don't," Mia pleaded, her hand gripping his wrist tightly. "You don't know who it is." Ignoring her, he inched closer to the door, peering out into the rain. The figure staggered into view, soaked to the bone, eyes wide and desperate. When they caught the lightning-esque flash, Alex recognized a familiar face. "Veronica." "What the hell?" he muttered. Why was she out there? Before he could process the turn of events, she wailed, "I'm sorry. You have to let me in." The storm raged on, more furious than ever, merging with the chaos inside Alex's mind. Could this be a trap? Was this power play orchestrated just for him? Mia's breath hitched beside him, a strange mix of anger and fear twisting her expression. "She can't come back in. Alex, don't you see?" And the whirlwind of emotions spiraled. Inside him, hope waged war with the looming shadows. Would opening that door lead to salvation or ultimate ruin? "Alex!" Veronica screamed, terror lacing her tone, pulling him back to the moment, to the choice ahead. Frozen, he faced Mia, and the question hung in the air: could he risk everything for the truth hidden behind that pleading voice? As lightning flickered, illuminating the room with the truth lurking in shadows, the decision still hung there, tantalizingly out of reach. What was the next step in this perilous game? And as the storm howled, the real battle was just about to begin. Alex's heart pounded against his ribcage like a caged animal. That desperate cry for help chilled him to the bone. He was caught between two worlds: the safety of the mansion and the unknown threat lurking in the storm outside. "Alex, please," Mia whispered, her grip tightening. "This isn't a game. She's not the same Veronica we knew." He swallowed hard, torn. One part of him urged him to let the door swing wide, to embrace the familiar face amidst the chaos. Another part warned that this could be a move in a deadly game. "Veronica," he called, voice shaky. "What happened?" "Monsters, they're coming. Please." Her voice trembled, raw and pleading as lightning flashed again, illuminating her fear-stricken face. He could see blood seeping through the fabric of her shirt. Mia shuddered, tears glistening in her eyes. "We can't let her in. We don't know what she has been through or what she has brought back." He shot her a desperate glance, torn between loyalty and instinct. Veronica staggered forward, the rain dripping off her like a curtain of despair. "Get back," Alex shouted, but he didn't mean it. He could see the terror in her eyes mixing with something darker, something that sent a shiver of dread racing down his spine. "Alex!" Veronica screamed again, this time more intense. "You don't understand." A sudden crack of thunder drowned her out, echoing through the empty halls, filling every corner of the ancient house with dread. Mia stepped closer to him, her presence a flicker of stability amidst the chaos. "You can't trust her. Not anymore. You need to protect us." In that moment, the air thickened. Something about the flicker of fear in Mia's eyes told him whatever was outside, whatever had hurt Veronica, was now hunting them. The shadows surrounding their lives started to close and dot. A sudden crash echoed through the house, the shattering sound of glass. Had someone just broke in? "Mia!" Alex grasped her arm tightly, his instincts screaming for action. "We need to move. Now." But as they turned, the door slammed open with a force that rattled the very foundations of their refuge. The wind rushed in, a howling beast carrying an icy chill that stung at their skin. Veronica surged forward, taking the opportunity of chaos. "You have to trust me. They'll find us if we don't hurry." Terrified yet entranced, Alex felt a surge of conflict rise within him. Every rational thought screamed to deny her. Yet the raw fear in her eyes mirrored his own. Was she telling the truth? Or was she merely the harbinger of doom? Alex. Mia pulled him back, eyes wide with panic. Don't let her in. We need to barricade the door. In that fractured moment of hesitation, they heard it. Soft whispers began to weave through the clamor of the storm. A language he couldn't grasp but felt deep in his bones. Alex, help us! It echoed around them. A chorus of lost souls wrapped in tendrils of darkness. Something beyond their control lurked beyond the threshold. Veronica lunged toward the door, eyes wild with fear, and Alex felt his grip loosen. I just want to be safe, she cried, and desperation cut through him like a knife. He couldn't fight any longer. We can't stay here, he said, each word heavy with dread. Mia's voice trembled, the weight of impending fallout heavy on her shoulders. Please don't do this. But the shadows had drawn near. The only choice left was to cross the line. As he reached for the doorknob, a chilling realization dawned. Every choice born from this moment could change everything. Who, then, would truly emerge spared from the storm? Just outside, a figure cloaked in shadow lingered, the whispers rising to a crescendo. The storm raged on, pulsing with a foreboding rhythm. With trembling hands, Alex made his choice. But the answers lay just beyond the door. What awaited them on the other side? The door swung open with a groan, exposing the tempest outside. Rain lashed against the threshold like the clawing hands of the damned. It was a scene from a nightmare, drenched in chaos and uncertainty. As the wind howled, Alex's sense of reality slipped further away. Come in, he shouted over the roaring storm, urgency breaking through the paralysis in his limbs. He couldn't abandon her. He couldn't betray Veronica. Mia, we can't leave her. The words erupted from his mouth, fueled by fear but tinged with desperation. He felt the air around them thrum with danger. Mia's eyes widened with disbelief. You've got to be kidding. If you let her in, they'll get us too. Veronica interrupted. The moment the words left her mouth, the shadows outside writhed, twisting against the rain-slicked ground, speaking to an unseen horror. With one last look at Mia, his heart a wild drumbeat in his chest, Alex stepped back. I'm sorry, he shouted, knowing he was crossing a line, knowing the danger was real. Veronica stumbled inside, soaked and shaking, her bleeding shirt a grim reminder that whatever pursued her had marked her. She gasped as the door slammed shut behind them, and the echoes of the storm faded, but not the terror that clung to the room. What did you bring back? Mia's voice turned icy, slicing through the air. Nothing, Veronica hissed, eyes darting, wild and frantic. They're real. You need to believe me. They're hungry. Static hung in the air, charged with an unseen energy. Alex's instincts screamed at him to act, that they were running out of time. Stay back, Mia demanded, stepping forward, the protective instinct in her flaring. You let that thing in, you have no idea what else you're inviting. Veronica's face twisted in horror. You don't understand, she shouted as if she were still outside, as if the words could pierce through the storm. If they find this place, we won't survive. Then tell us what you know. Alex's voice trembled on the edge of command. The room felt small beneath the weight of conflict. What are they? I saw them. Veronica sank to the floor, a crumpled figure hidden beneath the tension in the air. Dark shapes that take on form, people with shadows instead of flesh. Silence enveloped them, thick and suffocating. Mia took a step back, her breath quickening. You're not making any sense. But Alex felt the truth unfurling within him, a creeping certainty that slithered through his mind. What do they want? Me, Veronica breathed, eyes big and glistening. They want me to pay for the things I've seen, the things I didn't leave behind. And they'll come for all of you if we don't. Before she could finish, there was a rumble from outside, low and menacing, like the growl of some hidden beast. It made the walls shudder. The whispers returned, echoing inside Alex's skull, pulling at his sanity with a chorus of dread. Mia's voice turned small. What's happening? I don't know. His heart raced, panic racing through his veins. is not over. We have to find a way to stop them. Veronica raised her head, her eyes suddenly clear. There is a way, she whispered, voice quaking. But we have to go back outside. No, Mia protested. You're insane. It's worse out there. Don't you see? The shadows danced in the corners of Alex's mind, whispering promises, lurking in the recesses of the darkness. Would stepping outside guarantee their survival? Or doom them all? We will find a way, Alex whispered, resolve hardening within him. Whatever happens, we do it together. As he spoke, another crash resonated, decimating the fragile hope left in the room. There was a choice to make. Eyes darting, tempers flaring, shadows closing in. What threshold would they cross next? The crack of thunder sliced through the air, a deafening pronouncement of chaos as the storm lashed mercilessly against the old house. Alex's heart pounded furiously in his chest, discord mingling with disbelief. They were teetering on the edge of a cliff, and the dark abyss beneath beckoned. Back outside? Mia's voice dripped with disbelief, forming ice shards in the charged air. Are you out of your mind? But the urgency pulsed through Alex like a wildfire. He could see it in Veronica's eyes, a desperate plea that transcended fear. If we don't, he started, but the words stuck in his throat. We don't even know what we're up against. Mia shot back, panic flashing in her eyes. Veronica surged to her feet, trembling but resolved. We have to face them. There is something I left behind, something that can help us. Shadows flickered outside the window, and Alex instinctively took a step closer to Veronica. What do you mean? It's a charm, she gasped, fingers trembling as she brushed damp hair from her face. An old family relic. Can ward them off if I can just get it. Sounds insane, Mia interjected, her voice rising in pitch. You want to chase after some trinket while they're out there hunting us? Listen. Alex stepped between them, raising his hands in an attempt to mediate. If there is a chance, any chance, we have to try. We can't just sit here and wait for them to find us. The house erupted in another baritone growl, a reminder that time was slipping through their fingers. The storm roared ominously like a great beast awakening. Fine, Mia finally snapped, breathing heavily. But if we're going out there, we stick together. No running off on your own. The rain drummed mercilessly on the roof, pummeling the atmosphere into something almost alive. Alex felt a surge of gratitude toward Mia mixed with dread. It was the moment they might cross into hell, and he wasn't sure if he could drag them back. Let us go, he said, steeling himself against the unease. Slipping through the door, the cold kissed their skin like a warning. The world outside was a writhing darkness, a twisted swirl of rain and shadows, fear seeping from every crevice. The air felt thick, beads of moisture clinging, creating an aura of suffocation. Where is it? Mia asked, squinting through the gray haze. Over by the old oak, Veronica said, her voice barely audible over the storm. As they hurried toward the massive tree, Alex felt the weight of phantom eyes upon him. They were not alone. The shadows seemed to stretch towards them with a predatory hunger. He could feel the chill of something ancient and malevolent lurking beyond the veil of rain. Move, he urged, pushing them forward as the wind howled louder. With every step, whispered words clawed at Alex, tangled in the rain. They were promises, taunts, unbidden memories that sent lances of fear through him. He shuddered, willing them away. Suddenly, a flash illuminated the darkness, revealing figures in the corners of his vision. Dark shapes flickered and shifted, and Alex staggered backwards, nearly losing his footing. Did you see that? Mia stumbled too, her eyes wide with terror. What was that? Keep moving, Veronica shouted, her breath quivering. We can't stop. But as they drew closer to the oak, the shadows thickened around them, swirling like a storm of malice. They twisted into ghastly faces, mouths opening into grim smiles, a feast set before the hunters. Veronica, Alex shouted, his voice raw with urgency. Where is it? Just ahead, she cried, darting forward, desperation pushing her past fear. Alex's heart raced, every instinct screaming that they were venturing deeper into danger. Primal fear flooded him. But he couldn't let her go alone. He wouldn't allow it. He took a step forward, darkness closing in behind him, shadows hungry for their chance. Would they find salvation or the end of everything? The ground rumbled beneath their feet, an ominous stirring, as though the earth itself craved blood. "What's coming?" Mia whispered, voice tight with terror. Just as Alex turned to respond, a figure erupted from the darkness. Tall, slick with the rain, it reached out with a silhouette that chilled him to the bone. Everything he feared began to echo in that single, paralyzing moment. "Alex," Veronica's voice trembled, gripped by that unnatural fear. "It's here," and as they faced that darkness, the choice rang clear. Fight or flee, only one could lead to freedom. What choice would they make now? The figure loomed before them, a grotesque outline against the relentless rain. Set against the blinding flashes of lightning, it shifted, its features barely discernible yet undeniably terrifying. Alex felt his breath hitch in his throat, as if the very air had denied his lungs. "Run!" Mia screamed, the clarity of terror in her voice shattering the silence. But Veronica stood her ground, fists clenching against the sheets of rain. "No!" Veronica shouted back, her voice fierce. "I need that charm. It's the only chance we have." Thunder roared again, the sound vibrating through Alex's bones. In that chaos, he felt the pulse of fear escalate like a drumbeat. Every instinct screamed to flee, yet he couldn't just abandon Veronica. She had to be right, the charm could save them. As the creature stepped closer, the shadows morphed with it, faces contorting into expressions of malice, whispering the names of lost souls. They were taunts, echoes of despair clawing at his mind. Alex's heart raced, throttling against his ribs. "Veronica!" He reached for her, but the clamor of the storm swallowed his words. Just ahead, a rustling caught their attention. "There, I see it." Veronica pointed, eyes locked onto a glint hidden beneath jagged branches, illuminated by another flash of lightning. "Go for it," Alex urged, propelling her forward. Mia grabbed Alex's arm tightly, her grip a lifeline. "What if it's a trap?" she gasped, panic spilling over. "Then we face it together," he shouted, determination mingling with terror. They all dashed toward the oak, the shadows swirling around them, their whispers escalating into frantic shrieks. The creature gave a guttural growl, a warning that sparked a surge of adrenaline. The relentless rain turned the ground into a treacherous mess, each footfall a gamble against falling. Veronica dove for the spot, fingers clawing at the earth. "It's almost here." As she dug deeper, the creature shifted, startling Alex into a stark awareness. It wasn't just a shadow anymore. It had formed, a looming figure draped in darkness. He could see its jagged teeth glistening like obsidian, a promise of death. "Veronica, hurry!" Mia's scream pierced through the storm, mingling with the chaos around them. Veronica yanked out a small amulet, the charm glowing faintly. "I got it." But as she rose to her feet, the shadows lunged. Alex moved instinctively, pushing her to the side just as a dark claw brushed against his skin, sharp and cold. A surge of searing pain radiated from his side, blinding him for an instant. He gasped, eyes wide, adrenaline and terror coiling with confusion. "Alex!" Mia cried, but the noise melted into a distant roar as Alex staggered, feeling the edges of darkness close in around him. "I'm okay," he managed, teeth gritted. "Veronica, use it." With shaking hands, she held the amulet aloft, its glow intensifying. The shadows retreated momentarily, hissing in frustration. The wind howled louder, screaming warnings, but that light held its ground. "Do something," Mia shouted, the fear in her voice a grappling hook for his soul. "Just believe." Veronica's voice cracked as she concentrated. But the pressure mounted, shadows swirling like vultures. Then came another crack of thunder that rattled the sky itself, an eruption of sound followed by an eerie silence. Alex tightened his grip on Veronica's arm, feeling strength seep from his body. "This is it, push through." As she shouted an incantation, the charm blazed, illuminating their surroundings, as if daylight had suddenly broken through a stormy horizon. But the shadows lurked, an ominous weight still gripping at the edges. Alex met the creature's gaze, a relentless echo of his fears, and he realized something bone-chilling. We're not alone. The revelation poured through him like ice water. With every pulse of the charm's light, faces formed in the shadows, some familiar, twisted by despair. "No," he gasped. Before he could voice another word, the creature lunged again, and in that moment, Alex understood the truth of their nightmare. The darkness thrived on their grief, feeding off their regrets. As the edges of daylight flickered and the shadows thickened, he knew they stood at a precipice. Could they confront their hidden demons, or would they remain trapped in this vortex of despair forever? The final push was coming, and in that terrifying moment, everything hinged on their resolve. How far were they willing to go to reclaim their lives? The thunderous voice hung in the air, pregnant with tension. Alex felt that icy grip of realization tightening around his heart. Each face in the shadows seemed to beckon with unresolved sorrow, their eyes hollow yet pleading. He turned to Veronica, urgency flooding his veins. "Do something," he urged, voice strained. Veronica was shaking now, the charm pulsing wildly in her hand, casting frantic shadows that danced mockingly against the creature. "I'm trying, but it's like they're fighting back." "Push through," he insisted, struggling to stay on his feet, breath coming in ragged gasps. Lightning cracked overhead, illuminating twisted, anguished faces for just a sliver of a moment. Memories he thought he had buried deep clawed their way into his mind, the faces of friends lost, dreams dashed, moments he couldn't quite grasp escaping his fingers. Each shame, each regret added weight to his already exhausted soul. Mia gripped Alex's shoulders, her eyes wild. "We can't let it take us. We have to fight." Her tears mingled with the rain, a storm of their own brewing in her eyes. With newfound zeal, Veronica shouted the incantation again, her voice slicing through the storm as howl. The charm flared bright enough to push back the swarm of shadows, but still, the creature lunged. It moved with a speed that knocked the breath from Alex's lungs. "Get back," Veronica screamed, stepping in front of Alex, shielding him. The instant Veronica's body left his line of sight, something primal surged through Alex. He couldn't let her take the brunt of this attack alone. Channeling what little strength remained, he lunged for her, shoving her out of the way just as the creature's claws swept through the air, inches from her. The blow connected with Alex. Pain burst through him like wildfire. "Ah!" he gasped, collapsing to the ground. The world tilted, and he struggled to breathe. Mia screamed, falling to her knees beside him, but Alex waved her off, waves of pain radiating in his chest, blurring his vision. "We can't give up." His voice was barely a whisper, but the fight was far from over. Veronica knelt beside him, the charm flickering in her trembling hands, as if caught between life and death. "Alex, please." There was frantic desperation in her voice. He caught a glimpse of the shadows shifting again, swirling closer. They were like living nightmares, feeding off his fear and pain. But he couldn't give in. Not now. Not with his friends counting on him. Suddenly, a whisper pierced the chaos, a soothing, gentle voice within the storm. "Remember who you are," it seemed to say, echoing in his mind. A flicker of warmth broke through the cold grasp of despair. In that moment he focused, every ounce of his will concentrated on the charm. "Veronica, it needs all of us," he cried, gripping her wrist with determination. Her eyes darted between him and Mia, catching fire at his words. "You're right. We have to hold on together." "Mia," Alex forced out, "join us. We can fight back." Mia nodded, tears streaming down her face, filled with newfound resolve. They clasped hands, forming an unbreakable circle of strength as the shadows clawed closer, merging into a monstrous form. As they tightened their grip, the charm blazed like the sun, an explosion of pure light that sent shockwaves through the air. Alex's heart pounded in synchrony with the rhythm of hope sparking within him. The creature recoiled, a howl echoing into the darkness. But as the light dimmed, Alex's pulse raced with another chilling thought. What if instead of confronting the shadow, they had to understand it? As the shadows writhed and twisted, some seemed to retreat, but others congregated, forming a solid wall of darkness before them, faces still recognizable, still filled with grief. The air tasted electric, thick with the tension of the past and present colliding in a dizzying spiral. Do we dare? Alex wondered aloud, heart pounding. Veronica gulped, bracing herself. We have to see it through together. With the air thickening around them once more, uncertainty loomed like storm clouds overhead. Would they find the courage to confront their past, or would the darkness consume them entirely? The storm howled outside, a terrifying cacophony echoing the chaos within. Alex, Mia, and Veronica stood together, hand in hand, a fragile cord bridging panic and purpose. Every shadow that encircled them whispered anguish, mingling sorrow and desperation, urging them to fall prey to despair. This was a moment that would define everything. Let us do this, Alex urged, determination rekindling a flicker of hope among the uncertainty. He felt the clasp of their hands grow tighter, an unyielding strength forming in the circle. Whatever it is, we face it together. Their eyes locked, all three feeling the weight of what lay ahead. Together, Mia echoed, her voice steadier despite the tremors that coursed through her body. It fueled them forward, the thundering chaos outside serving as a backdrop to the personal storm they faced. With a deep breath, they drew strength from one another, letting empathy mix with resolve. They focused on the glimmering charm in Veronica's hand, the precious light that rippled against the overwhelming darkness. It was time to shatter the shadows that had haunted them for too long. Veronica's voice rose again, steady and defiant. You don't own us. We reject your power. The incantation fired through the air, a blend of loss and longing pouring from her heart into the words. Each syllable pushed back against the frantic whispers surrounding them. The darkness around them ebbed and surged, defiance met with rage. Then Alex felt it, something within the shadows shifting, trembling in response to the strength they were summoning. Hope plastered itself against the fear gripping his heart. Focus. Picture the memories you cling to, the good ones, the love you carry. Mia shouted, her voice threading through the storm with urgency. They dug deep, each of them summoning the light they had within, the friendships cherished, the moments of joy that felt too fleeting now. With every beat of their hearts, light poured from Veronica's charm, illuminating the faces forming in the shadows, ghostly remembrances twisted by sorrow. Alex recognized them, lost friends, loves, even moments of self-doubt that chipped away at him. We see you, he cried, voice cracking but resolute. We acknowledge the pain you carry, and we will not let it define us. The shadows writhed and shrieked, a collective agony echoing through the storm. Yet, for the first time, they felt less like attackers, and more like the wounded souls trapped in their own cycle of misery. There's always hope, Veronica shouted, her words a lifeline cast into the storm. We can heal. In that moment of empathy, something shifted. The shadows pulsed with hesitation, as if recognizing the bond the three of them forged. A quiet murmuring rose, a merging of pain and release that echoed off the walls of their sanctuary. Now push, Alex shouted, their combined strength sending waves of light bursting forth. Shimmering, the charm emanated a brilliance that filled the room, enveloping the shadows like a cocoon made of love and forgiveness. The darkness retreated, seeming to withdraw from the radiant glow. Alex's heart raced, exhilaration mixing with disbelief. It's working, he gasped, adrenaline coursing through him as he squeezed their hands tighter as the last ounce of darkness evaporated. The air hummed. What was left were echoes, faces softened and sorrow unveiled. They watched as the shadows shifted into shapes of the past, a gentle reminder of humanity's flaws. Each of those sorrowful moans of regret began to fade, becoming mere whispers carried away by the wind. Suddenly, a calmness filled the space, the storm outside receding as though it respected their victory. Through the windows, the first glimmers of dawn broke, sunlight washing over them like a comforting embrace. We did it, Mia whispered, awe dancing in her eyes. Veronica's shoulders sagged, tears spilling down her cheeks. It's finally over. They slowly released each other as hands, the threads of connections no longer merely binding them, but allowing them to flourish in newfound freedom. Each of them carried not just scars, but strength stoked from the surplus of love now burning in their hearts as they stood there bathed in gentle morning light. Alex felt an overwhelming warmth despite the memories of pain. It no longer clenched at his heart, it had transformed into something beautiful and potent. "Thank you," he breathed, glancing at both Mia and Veronica, "for holding on." The sun rose beyond the treetops, casting away the darkness that had held them prisoner. The mansion was no longer a cage but became a canvas, ready to be filled with laughter and new memories. They stepped outside, the weight of the night slowly dissipating with every branch the sun kissed. There was a sense of promise in the air that every fresh morning brings, and somehow, Alex knew it was the beginning of their healing not just from the past, but alongside one another. And as they walked together into that new day, a silent vow hung between them, a promise to face whatever came next, together. But this is just the beginning. Don't miss out. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Smash the like button now to feed the algorithm. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about the ending. And for the love of stories, instantly share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. This is the moment to show your support, and remember, only true fans understand the importance of being here with us every step of the way. Don't wait even one more second.